there, I'm Jean Tiberio, and I'm a nutritionist and a wellness coach. You're listening to Healing Outside the Box. Today is episode 113, and I'm calling it, Are There Really Supernatural Foods? Truth be told, this whole episode is just an excuse to tell my hocus pocus story. So here it is. I was channel surfing last night, and I came across the movie Hocus Pocus with Bette Midler. Now, I've seen it once before, many years ago, so I decided to see it again. And that's because the movie, in a couple of parts, actually almost sees me. I live in a big brick building set on the Salem Common, which used to be an old schoolhouse about 40 years ago. The schoolhouse was built in 1896, so it's a huge 3-story schoolhouse with steep roofs. It turns out that Disney thought it was the perfect location for the setting of the kids' school. So Disney came around to meet with us to see if they could ask us to take down our curtains so they could shoot the schoolhouse in the background. And of course we were all excited. Some more than others. I was pretending to be cool about it, but on the nights that they shot the schoolhouse, I have to admit I was pretty excited. They first shot the scenes in the afternoon when the kids were getting out of school. When the Disney people came by to check out the first floor of the hallway outside the apartments, they did a bit of, this could use a paint job. And it could, as it turns out. And so they said, we'll paint in exchange for using the building. Again, win-win. So we were paid $50 to take down our curtains, and our walls got painted. I was a happy camper. So those daytime scenes were shot over a couple of days, but the night scenes were more interesting. And that's because the black cat, as you recall, had to be filmed following them. And cats, as it turns out, are not great followers. So we were peeking outside the window, trying not to get seen, and saw the cat actually taking off down the street, and a middle-aged man running down the street after the cat. I imagine you can guess that he didn't catch up with the cat. So they brought out another cat, and a similar scene unfolded. That cat ran away. Eventually, they got a cat to circle around them for a couple of seconds. And that was that. In that particular scene, the kids are jumping up and down, as happy as can be that they just incinerated Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker. I'm not sure if that's the greatest children's story, but there you have it. Another nighttime scene that was really cool was when the three of them walked up to the wrought iron fence, and you can see my apartment in the background. I was saying to the person I was watching it with, there's my living room, there's the guest bedroom, and there's my computer room. Bada bing, bada boom. When I saw the movie, it made me realize, oh look, you can actually see inside my apartment when the shades and the curtains are up. Good to know. So the question today, getting back to the podcast episode, is this. Are there really supernatural foods? Supernatural foods, I guess, are superfoods that are also natural. Who would have thought? I usually don't use the term superfoods because it's ambiguous, or the word natural, since ditto for that. My doctor used to tease me and say, all right, so you teach a vegetarian diet to people. What about donuts? They're vegetarian, right? Can I eat a few of those for lunch? Which, again, donuts are vegetarian and arsenic is natural. But if I were pressed to define the term superfoods, I would define it as nutrient-dense foods that have specific benefits for your health and wellness. In the vegetable category, you have your dark greens and your dark red-orange vegetables. In general, the darker the color, whether it be the greens or the reds, the better it is for you. There are a few exceptions, but that's the basic rule. In the green category, we usually mention spinach, broccoli, and kale. In the red-orange category, there are the sweet potatoes, carrots, and pumpkin. As for the fruits, most people will immediately mention berries, but there is also a decent amount of vitamin A, C, and fiber in the melons and in the fruits with skins. like grapes and plums. By the way, nutritionally speaking, I recommend that you eat the skins, and if you don't like the skin of, say, an apple, move on to another fruit. There's almost no nutrition under the skin when it comes to apples. Same thing with pears. Most of the produce is rich in antioxidants, and we know that antioxidants fight the aging process and inflammation, but they may also be very beneficial, as most of us have heard, in fighting tumor growth and possibly preventing tumors from spreading or preventing them altogether. Next, we have the category known as the legumes. People that listen to my podcast episodes know I love saying that. The legumes are beans of all kinds and nuts. I would include soybeans and soy nuts in this category, as well as the other soy products. Then there is the fish category. The types of fish that are more super than other types of fish are generally your cold water fish, which are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Examples of these are salmon and mackerel. Last but not least, we have the whole grain category. Grains in general have been getting a bad reputation because of the whole gluten thing. I've devoted many episodes to the whole gluten thing, and I'll give you a link to one of them in the show notes. But the whole grains, especially oats in my opinion, are beneficial in lowering cholesterol and are, of course, high in fiber. As for the red wine, sorry to say, that is not a superfood. The substance in the red wine that is said to be effective against heart disease is really in the grape. The skin of the grape, to be more precise. If you would like to read more about the superfoods, you have the whole World Wide Web at your disposal. But if you don't feel like fishing around, I'll leave you the link to the American Heart Association article on this topic in the show notes. That's all I have for you today. Be well and stay tuned next week for another episode of Healing Outside the Box.